it must have been a good night last night. How did I get here? I need to get out though. Maybe... Oh, there's a door, so I can get out that way. Oh no, it's locked. Okay, it's locked. Okay, what do I do? Think, Elaine, think. There's a pine cone. Yes, this will help me unlock the door. Come on. Yes, come on. No, this isn't working. This is futile. There's something in my shoe. What is that? Ugh. How did I get creme fraiche in my shoe? Oh, come on. Ugh. I feel like I've been here for an eternity. Oh my god, I've still got that library book. It's going to be a fortune by now. It's still locked. I still can't get out. And I seem to have grown a beard. I must have been here for absolutely ever.
What's going on? Elaine? What happened to you? I've only been gone for like 2 hours. You know, I left the key here, right? I left the key so you can pick it up. It's right here. It's just...
Hold on to your lederhosen because boy are you in for a lot of gushing because we love this game, and rightly so. Unlock doesn't just come at you in a saccharine ball of colour like an excited hamster. It's new and it's fresh and mostly it's accessible by everyone. In this box you get 3 different adventures, or if you live in the Americas you get 3 different boxes with 1 adventure each. And the adventure says you are stuck in a room and you must escape within 60 minutes or else.
Or else what?
Or else you don't, and you get to finish the adventure anyway, but then you have to hold your head in eternal shame.
Jiminy Cricket Unlock has parachuted to our doorstep from Space Cowboys, a French publisher who has taken on the monumental duty of pioneering narrative-driven experiences in board games in an industry which isn't really quite used to narrative-driven experiences yet. And they have delivered such games as Time Stories, which was our game of the year for 2015, and we loved it very dearly, and the new version of Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, which we haven't got a review yet, but in just a couple of weeks. Just you hang on for that one. But now we have Unlock, and Unlock is... well, it's unparalleled because of just how incredibly accessible it is by people who are not used to modern board games at all and not part of this hobby. And that is probably one of the most important things about it.
On the back of the box it proudly states that no rulebook reading is necessary, and we are very happy to report that that is not a lie. You just open the box and find these 3 adventures here with the decks of cards. Underneath one of them you'll find a 4th, smaller deck of cards that contains the playthrough tutorial.
We can't show you anything from the adventures in Unlock because we would spoil things, but we can show you the tutorial. Once you start the app and select an adventure, you'll read the top card, start the timer, and flip it over and find yourself in a room with a bunch of numbers. You'll find the cards with those numbers in the deck and take the time to examine them. Red cards and blue cards can be added together to get a new number and find it in the deck. As you go through the adventure, sometimes you'll encounter puzzles that give you a 4-digit code. You'll enter that code into the app and presto, something new happens. This tutorial is pretty basic, but the stuff you find in the actual adventures is more elaborate and sometimes makes you look hard for the numbers. And sometimes you'll end up trying things that just don't work.
The game uses pictures and numbers to communicate information to you, and sometimes it does need words to clarify what it is that you're actually looking at. So if you find something like this thin red line, you're not sure what it is. Is it a shoelace or a cable or a pencil? And the card tells you no, that's actually a Terrence Malick movie. Occasionally you will find that the translation will throw you a little bit, but most of the time it is very well done.
If you've ever played a PC game that was an escape the room, such as the awesome Viridian Room, then you'll know exactly what this kind of game is all about. Unlock remains in the narrative trope of escape the room games, where everything is a little bit preposterous, like you leave your keys in a vase, or you feed your dog with some kind of weird Rube Goldberg contraption, or in one of the adventures the main villain is called Dr. No-Side, which coincidentally is Dame Edna spelt backwards. Everything that exists in the world exists in a room or in a series of rooms, and that can be a little little bit odd. The puzzles have to be challenging enough to keep you engaged and interesting, but not so impossible that they feel rubbish and weird even when you know the answer to them. And in fact, Unlock mainly succeeds in this, and there were only a couple of times where we found a little bit frustrating.
Sometimes you'll be stuck and won't know where to go, what to do, or how to be. And that will also happen to you in Unlock. And for those times, you have the handy hint button on your app, and you'll just enter the number of the card, and it'll give you a hint. The problem is that those hints don't always exactly relay the information that you wish they relayed when you are, in fact, stuck. I mean, I don't want to be a give-up Gertie, but there are moments in Unlock where you've just run out of all the sensible things that you want to or can do and don't know what to do anymore at all. And I just wish that for those times there was just a button that says, I give up, because otherwise I'm just stuck in this room until either my phone battery or me personally gives out completely.
The app is more than just a facilitator for codes that you need to enter or a handy hint dispenser like a bear at the zoo pressing a button to get another fish. It will also dispense you a soundtrack which at the best of times is nail-biting, at the worst of times is absolutely infuriating, particularly with the timer ticking down. The app will also tell you exactly why you are locked in the room, like maybe your arch nemesis has locked you in there because he doesn't want you to go to the Barrow and Furness Tiddlywinks Championships. How will you possibly get out until your way to victory now? Unlock is a team game, and this is where it really shines. When you enter a room, you are tossed a hodgepodge of cards, all with information on them, and one of you will likely be designated as the card finder, and this is a very responsible job. So, you can't try and find the cards under the influence. And then the cards are tossed to the other players to delegate the tasks, because you simply don't have time to sit around and look at them at a leisurely pace because the timer is ticking down. So you have to just trust each other to communicate the bits that are really useful on each card. But more importantly, you have to trust the other players to come up with that missing bit of the puzzle when the rest of you are totally stumped.
Here's the skinny. Unlock is great. It's a really enjoyable experience, but if it does have a fault, well, it's that it is what it is. Exactly. It doesn't innovate on the genre of puzzle games in any way, and has the exact same problems that point and click adventures had in the 90s. And when it wants to make things really difficult, it creates puzzles that are very, very preposterous and hard to put together because they just don't make any sense. And I think that comes from Space Cowboy's idea that games like this need to have a boss element at the end. It had the exact same problem with Time Stories. When it wanted to make you feel like things are really difficult, it really ramped things up, except I don't think that needs to exist in board games. They can simply make it challenging, but not make it feel like it's super impossible. You'll still have that sense of achievement if you've completed it. And that's my biggest problem. I just don't want them to waste time creating elaborate puzzles, which are here at the very end of adventure. I just want to feel satisfied.
And you can't just try and combine nonsense and hope it works either, and having no better idea is not an excuse. We all remember from our student days using peanut butter as laundry detergent just to see if it might work. It never has good results. But instead of having clothes that are both gross and delicious, the game will deduct minutes from your already dwindling time, making the timer one of the most infuriating things. If you're doing well, then it feels cool and tense, but if you're doing badly, then it kind of feels like that PE teacher at school that mocks you and makes fun of you for finishing the mile run 20 minutes into everyone's lunch break. Was that just me? Either way, whether you love it or hate it, we have to agree that getting an emotional response is never a bad thing.
As combining two cards always gives you a numerical value, sometimes through sheer probability or poorly guided fates, you will stumble onto a number that isn't the right answer to the puzzle, yet is still in the deck.
Are you sure it's the freezer? This can't be right.
Of course it's the freezer. It's the only thing that could be. God, look, just open the freezer, look in, we'll see what's in there, we go from there, right?
I don't have a good feeling about this.
It's fine, just look into the freezer. What?
We should not have looked in there.
On flipping the card, you'll knit your brow as you wonder how it is that you've combined a jar of honey and a battery and somehow got a small, slightly out of tune flute. Ladies and gentlemen, you have well and truly kicked the magician in the shin and peeped behind the curtain somewhere where you really shouldn't be looking at. And that's how it feels like. It doesn't feel cool, like you've gleaned into some forbidden knowledge. It just feels annoying because you kind of slightly broken the game.
Honestly, Unlock is great. Occasionally it buzzes out of tune, but like a Tom Waits song, somehow that makes it even better. The exhilaration and excitement that you get from solving puzzle after puzzle and putting it all together is just joyous. For all those silly little nuisance things that we had, they really don't matter because the game is so much fun. However, there is one final caveat.
When you finish the adventures, and there's 3 adventures like we mentioned, that's it. That's all there is. You can't replay them again. You know how to solve the puzzle and it's done. And that's counterweighed by the price point, which is not that bad. It retails at $24.99 in UK and maybe less or more depending on where you live. But the most important thing I want to say is that a sensible person, what they would do here is once they're finished with all the 3 adventures, they would sell the game on. I'm going to ask you to do something that's not very sensible. And for once in your life, I would like to ask you to not just resell a game that you're done with, but take this game to a person that you know, but you know that they don't play board games, and just give it to them and say, look, here's a thing, all you need is an app and a friend, and just get it. You don't need to read any rules, just take it and have fun. And when you're done, bring it back to me and I'll hand it to someone else. And I can guarantee you that almost all the time they'll come back barging at your door and say, is there more? I want more Unlock. And you'll say, no, there isn't, because they haven't made any more Unlock yet. But look, I have like all these other games that are conveniently stacked on a shelf that's perhaps a little bit too obsessive, and you can pull one out and say, we can play this one instead and it'll be good. So do that one for me. Would you like me to show you the box again? Because that's pretty much all we've shown you this entire review. We can't show any more because it's spoilers inside, so we don't want to spoil anything for you. That's how much care and attention we bring to every one of our videos. And if you'd like to support us, we are on Kickstarter right now, so you really need to go and back us so we can make another year of this stuff. It's good, isn't it? But more importantly, if you don't want to support us and you just want to, you know, like hang out with us, you can click the subscribe button. And the camera is shaking right now because Elaine can't stop laughing. We're funny.